Jacen Russell-Rowe is on the edge, on the cusp of Canada's World Cup squad, but one move might have changed everything for Jacen Russell-Rowe's World Cup hopes. As the Canadian forward, the Canadian striker, has headed off to France, to Ligue to join Toulouse FC, to join a league that develops elite attacking talent on a regular basis. But with the World Cup looming in 2026 and Jacen Russell-Rowe's World Cup spot not locked down, is this too big of a risk? Is this a move too soon for Jacen Russell-Rowe in such a major year for the Canadian international? Or is he ready for this step up? Is this the right club for Jacen Russell-Rowe to jump into European football? And does this boost his World Cup hopes? We're going to break it all down, look at the transfer details, and let you know how he fits in and boosts his World Cup stock in this video. But before we jump into it, guys, make sure to like the video, hit that sub button if you're enjoying all the best Canada content, because there's a lot coming to the channel with all the transfers, all the news, all the best for Canada content here on the Rise. But before we jump into it, guys, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments as well about Jacen Russell-Rowe heading to Toulouse FC. But let's jump straight into the transfer details. As it was first reported from Tom Bogert that Jacen Russell-Rowe is heading to Toulouse FC in France in Ligue 1, and it was a fee of 2.5 million to Columbus Crew, with additional add-ons as well as a sell-on clause for Jacen Russell-Rowe. But also, this is going to be a 3.5-year deal for the Canadian international, seeing him at the club until 2029, locking him down for the future with Toulouse FC, keeping him around for a long time. And that is a huge talking point. That is extremely important in my eyes. The fact that Toulouse FC see Jacen Russell-Rowe and this deal as one that they can look as a future part of this club, because Toulouse FC is not just a side in Ligue 1 in France that are roaming at the bottom of the table. They're not just a club that is fighting off relegation and staying alive year on year. This is a club this year in Toulouse FC that are pushing for European places in the Conference League, in the Europa League, and there is legitimate hope that they can do that. This is a strong side with some quality players, some exciting attackers, and adding Jacen Russell-Rowe to the mix is a huge push for this Toulouse FC side. A team that needs a goal scorer, needs an out-and-out number 9, one they can rely upon week in and week out. Yes, they have current strikers at the club in Franck Madri from Cameroon as well as Emerson. But you add in a Jacen Russell-Rowe who is being bought for a decent sum of money for Toulouse FC. He will be guaranteed minutes. He will be guaranteed to be that number 9, to help them over the line and continue to carry them to European glory. Because it is truly in touching distance this season for Toulouse FC to get themselves in European competition. And it would be major if they could pull it off, because this would be huge for a club like Toulouse FC to have European football next year, and especially with a player like Jacen Russell-Rowe helping them do so. And when you look at a player like Jacen Russell-Rowe, this is a major risk. This is a transfer that he is going out completely of his comfort zone. We have to remember, this is a World Cup year for Jacen Russell-Rowe. He is leaving behind a club in Columbus Crew that he has been at since 2022, where he's played 109 matches across all competitions with the club, scoring 22 goals. This is a major risk. He's heading to European football, to one of the biggest leagues in world football, ahead of a year where Canada and Jacen Russell-Rowe is fighting for a World Cup spot. This is a player who isn't locked down into Canada's squad. His spot is still up for grabs. And making this move and getting out of his comfort zone is a major risk, but it's one that I think will truly pay off. It is a huge gamble, and it shows the confidence, it shows the belief he has within himself. And I think it is the right move to make, to back yourself, challenge yourself in a bigger league. And with such an exciting club that is truly built around how Jacen Russell-Rowe can play and how he can fit into this squad. Because we have to remember, there's been a certain other Canadian in French football, in Ligue 1, in previous years that has thrived, that has continued to move as one of the best strikers in European football, and that is Jonathan David. Jonathan David has been one of the best strikers across Europe, across the world of football for the past couple of seasons, and he thrived in France. But why I bring him up is because Jacen Russell-Rowe is a true comparison to Jonathan David. The playstyle, the attributes, the intelligence, and the way he uses his body is extremely comparable to Jonathan David. Yes, he's not on the same level. Of course he's not. He still has leaps and bounds to go. But there are a lot of similarities to how both players like to play their games. And there is a reason Canadians are looking at Jacen Russell-Rowe as the perfect substitute, the perfect replacement, if injury or if tiredness, for Jonathan David to be Jacen Russell-Rowe, which is extremely exciting. And I think Jacen Russell-Rowe suits Ligue 1 to a T, to an absolute perfect marriage. When you look at Ligue 1, this is, yes, one of the best leagues in European football. But what you're getting from Ligue 1 is a league that is open, that can be a basketball match at times, but also is physical and won't pose the strongest of defenses as well. There's an opportunity to come in transition, to run at back lines, to find half spaces, to find open areas, to score goals. And this FC Toulouse side will create opportunities, will create goal scoring situations for Jacen Russell-Rowe. And yes, you have to have the intelligence. You have to have the ability to find the spaces, to open up and read the play, to be there for those goal scoring opportunities. And that's exactly the type of striker and the type of player Jacen Russell-Rowe is. When you compare him to Jonathan David, it's the intelligence, it's the thinking, it's what's going to happen next, a few steps ahead. And that's what Jacen Russell-Rowe does so well. It's thinking ahead. It's that intelligence to find those half spaces, to find those pockets of space in the box when the ball is going to be delivered, for the cutback, for the cross, or reading the play and figuring out where the ball is going to drop, where that rebound is going to end up, where the goalkeeper may parry it. That is what Jacen Russell-Rowe can do. It's just like what Jonathan David does. It's the intelligence and the ability to read a match and his players and what's going to happen next, which is why I think he's going to thrive in this league. His style is so similar, so comparable to what we see with Jonathan David, and it would make sense to see him thrive in Ligue 1. And also, his stature, his body frame is very good for this style of play. The physicality, Jacen Russell-Rowe is no small player. He has the strength, he has the body build to hold on to the ball, to be a part of the build-up play, which he enjoys so much. At Columbus Crew, Jacen Russell-Rowe was able to get involved in the build-up play. Yes, he didn't score oodles of goals, but he was able to contribute in different ways to this Columbus Crew side throughout matches, whether it's with his feet, in the build-up to find his wingers, to hold on to possession. He is gifted at being all around a good footballer. And that will help him a lot in Ligue 1 and with this side that has multiple good attackers surrounding him. And Franck Madri, another striker from Cameroon, Emerson, more particularly, I might get this name wrong, but Inyan Gaboho, a very exciting winger with talented dribbling attributes, very fun to watch on the ball, and I think him and Jacen Russell-Rowe will perfectly play together very well, like a chef's kiss. They will be so fun to watch in game, and the way they link up will be very exciting to see, just like Jonathan David and some of his winger comparisons were at Los Lille. There's so many comparisons, so many similarities to Jacen Russell-Rowe and Jonathan David in this move, I truly believe. But one thing that we have to do before we wrap up this video is Does this boost his World Cup stock? I think it does, completely. Yes, like I said, it's a risk. Yes, it's a challenge. It's a major obstacle to go from a comfortable, stable home at Columbus Crew, where you've won the MLS, you've won the League Cup, you've spent over 100 appearances in multiple competitions. There was the comfortability there for Jacen Russell-Rowe to return, smash goals in, play very well, but not be in as strong of a league. And he has the confidence, the belief, and the ability to challenge himself in one of the biggest leagues in the world and on a team that is looking to get into European football. And that alone will boost his stock by joining such a big club. The stature of the club, the stature of the league, and being able to score goals in Ligue consistently will be huge for his World Cup stock. And especially since Canadians have done so well in this league, it really makes sense. And I've loved using this term. It's a match made in heaven. It's a perfect marriage. And this is a transfer where all sides win. Jacen Russell-Rowe gets his stock boosted ahead of the World Cup. Toulouse gets a hungry, ambitious, young, talented striker who will lead the line for them in their chase for European football. And Canada gets a young striker who moves to European football, shows his ambition, and willing to do whatever he can to be in that World Cup squad. And this is a very exciting signing. This is a very exciting transfer. And for me, possibly the most important Canadian transfer of the January window. Let me know your thoughts down below of Jacen Russell-Rowe joining Toulouse FC in Ligue 1 and a side that could just make European football this season thanks to Jacen Russell-Rowe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, drop a sub, because like I said, guys, there's going to be so much content on the channel with transfers, with more in-depth transfer videos as well, including the breaking reactions such as this one, as well as retirement videos and even more in-depth Canada content on the channel. But I'll see you guys all for the next one. Peace.